right, well, while we're waiting, I'll take this here red steak shot.
Red steak is ass.
We can start over because it's actually working now. So
Good deal.
Dave, you gonna buy the Tony Hawk remaster?
Tony Hawk remaster.
I
What
don't
do you?
think he even knows about that.
You know about it though.
You haven't been on the internet yet today? Too busy.
Well, actually, so I saw that it was Tony Hawk's birthday today. Does that have anything to do with it or no?
No, apparently in September they're gonna remaster Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Hopefully with the same soundtrack.
Yep, it actually says that in the trailer. Yeah.
That's how they're gonna get so many sales, is because of the soundtrack, and we all are thinking the same song.
Just buy that game just to have the soundtrack playing in the background while you put some gutters up.
Dude,
Honestly, though, if that's the case,
you know, the funny thing is, I'm actually I can get into all this later, but we have another property now, and that's the house we're in right now, and I actually have a gutter guy coming out tomorrow to our house.
Ooh.
But it is totally necessary, and I need him to come out because we have a bit of an issue with an internal gutter, which, I could go into that, but we're here to talk skateboarding. But we can talk about all
I mean, we're not. There's no rules to this podcast. Like, we've talked about some gnarly stuff. There's been a lot of, tangents oh my God. Been a lot of tangents we've gone on for 30 minutes where there's no skateboarding talk about.
That's the guards, baby.
So,
oh yeah.
Hey, I want you guys to know, don't be deceived. Gutter guards don't always work the way that they're hyped up to be.
The way you sold them, pretty much.
I just removed some and threw them away, actually. So yeah, they can actually cause more clogging than anything. So.
Oh, that's why you got rid of them.
They're actually a bust, huh?
Yeah, it's just hyped up,
Kind of like a new board, when your tail starts getting a razor tail, you kind of gotta get rid of it. I
just don't see how they would clog up though.
So they have different kinds. The kind that I had, picture I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. Picture almost like in a Pelican case, you have the foam.
Okay.
Picture a gutter full of foam, and then the water can come through, but then it won't allow leaves and stuff in it. But if you get enough leaves and all that on top, you can't even have water flow through it properly. So, as a homeowner, gotta be looking out.
You live and learn,
It's tough out there day by day, and you just learn how to, you wake up in the morning and you just get the courage to go out there and do it. Yeah, weird times right now. Just, I feel like I'm on the 9 Club, but.
Nah, actually, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, we don't talk about other shows.
Yeah, we don't talk about other podcasts.
They're just not doing anything right now, right? Or are they doing
Who's the who?
Yeah, who are we talking about?
Talking about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. This is the only podcast.
I don't think so.
This is the only podcast that exists.
We're the only ones still going. Well, I guess I don't know.
We'll send you your check after this.
Okay, good. That's enough. The only skateboarding podcast and home improvement.
Damn, that should be our tagline. That'd be pretty funny. Lucid Drinking, the only skateboarding podcast.
Damn.
Well, how are you guys today?
Living the dream,
Bored as hell.
Are you guys
hanging in there?
Are you all off work, or are you guys working right now?
I think we're all working from home.
Yep.
I'm working on the home.
What's the current project?
Well, so she was power washing for a long time today.
Nice.
And I'm converting my garage into a wood shop. So basically painting everything, emptying out everything. I'm going to power wash the floor and then do an epoxy coating on it.
Nice.
And then it'll be nice to actually be able to skate out of it too, because the epoxy floor will be nice and smooth. But my boy Nate in Toledo welded me up an amazing flat bar that I just went when I was home and picked it up from him.
And
so
Nate's dope.
Yeah, and so we drove.
His dog is the dog version of Jamie Foy.
It really is. It just looks like Jamie Foy. I can't explain
It,
it.
it looks like Jamie
A
Foy.
dog that looks like Jamie
It's
Foy.
like blonde, or no, it's like beige and white, and it just like looks like Jamie
It's
Foy.
just like a solid dog. It just like knocked me over as soon as it ran out. And I was like, that's Jamie Foy.
It was Jamie Foy, dog version, but yeah. So
I wonder if it can. I wonder if it can front crook too.
probably switch front crook, anything. But yeah, so I'm working on that, and then it's kind of just never ending. Like one thing I found out is you have like all these goals of when you want to be done with stuff, but then there will be other stuff to do. So I've been trying to view it more, as like just a fun project to stay, I guess, content throughout the whole thing. Like not trying to, look for an end date and like then it will all be over and then I can enjoy it. I'm trying to just enjoy the whole process of everything. And Emma's been helping me out with that. And it's just, we love like old historic homes, and that's really what we are going into now. And like we're hoping to make a career out of it, like making them into
Really?
like a rental or something.
Yeah.
But
You guys gotta get your own show.
Dude, that'd be
should.
sick.
Hey,
I'll film it. I'm down.
Have you guys ever heard of the show This Old House before? Any of you guys?
I feel like I have.
It used to come on like PBS, like after cartoons on Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm. It's an amazing
maybe.
show. They pick different people, and then they just like bring a crew to their house, and like they have a tour of the house, and then like the owner will let them know like, I want to get this and this done, and they just go at it.
Yep.
And oh yeah, there we go. I thought the meeting like.
Damn, we gotta Photoshop you guys into one of those.
Damn, yeah.
Let's just say this: like, I want to be on that show so bad, and like, my life has only been like.
Let's not even
obsessed
Photoshop you
over
in.
it.
Let's just recreate this. So you got like
Yeah. Actually,
Dave,
hey,
Peter.
there's your goal. There's your goal, Dave. Once you finish your workshop, that'll be the perfect background for that photo right there, and Alex will recreate that photo.
Dude,
instantly.
the thing is though, is like it's so true. Like I have, like I'll like wake up and then I walk around, and I think I've told you guys before, like for the past year, I got my first home and then spent like all of 2019 just renovating it, and like it was way more work than I thought. But now that things are stable, like I'll wake up and I'm walking around the house and I'm literally like a dad. Like I'm looking at everything. I'm like, oh man, those gutters are
like,
draining good.
Dad's just like not done enough for like
Yeah.
the things.
You can
That's
find,
all
Dave.
the time.
Dave knows where all the studs are in the house, huh?
Dude,
Yeah.
and the thing is like I love it. Like I enjoy it so much, and I don't care how dumb it may look. Like
No, dude, it's fucking dope. Do you ever so like when you finish a job, are you more like, all right, let me enjoy this, or are you constantly just like, what's next?
like I really enjoy having like a property that I can be proud of, but not like the proud of like, get like letting pride get to me, I guess, maybe. But like I do really enjoy restoring old things, and I think that after I'm done with something, I am looking for like the next project.
Mhm.
But I don't know, it is really like I said, like it's never ending, but I guess when you're enjoying something that you worked really hard on, you have like a whole different appreciation. And I think that now when I come into historic homes, back then when they built stuff, they did it so right. And you look at how people did things, and like you look at something and you're like, wow, they didn't have anything electric back then. Like they did this all by hand, and you can really come to appreciate that stuff. So like obviously skateboarding is, like my life, and I've been overly obsessed with skateboarding, and that's for sure. But now I'm going into a different phase where like obviously skateboarding it's what I do, it's who I am, it's who we are. But going into like this next phase of having an appreciation for, old homes and bringing them back is so much fun, dude. And I recommend it to like anyone, but you just have to be prepared for like random just surprises. Like you'll pull up, like I don't know, you'll go into a basement and then you step in an inch of water and you're like, your world kind of crashes for a second. But
Yeah, you gotta be able to accept that. Dude, honestly, you can kind of relate that to filming a video, I guess, And
dude, yeah.
And then, like, especially like project wise, like, when you film a project, you battle a trick or whatever, and then you finish it. And then, I mean, I know me personally, like when I finish a video, like after a premiere, like come January, when it's snowing out, I'm like, damn, I kind of want to skate again. I want to start a new video, Like, kind of related that way.
It's kind of like anything in life. You put your everything into something, but no matter what, like when it's done, it's never going to be good enough. Like it's never going to be like, oh, I did that and now I'm fulfilled and now I'm just going to do nothing for the rest of my life. It's like you always want something more.
Like, I built a workshop. Now I need to build a second floor to my workshop.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, so the new house actually has like an attached garage that's way bigger than my current one. So,
you're talking about it's like green on the outside and you guys just put like the old sign on it when it was initially built. Is that the new one you're talking about?
So we actually got those signs made for both our houses, but the one that we're in literally right now, this is the home that we're going to actually live in like long term. The other home it was built in 1910 as like an actual house,
That's your,
family.
That's your pilot episode?
Yeah. And that got divided up in like 1920. They just made the top floor a separate apartment, and then they made them all different apartments. So we currently live on the top floor, and then we rent out the other 2 floors to tenants, and that's been awesome, and it's been really rewarding. But now, I don't have to go into it now, but like just crazy sequence of events happened where we got this and we live 10 houses away. So we'll be moving in here, and then we're going to be renting out the other house, and that'll just be full of just people that are renting. And then here, be able to actually live here and then kind of expand and try to find more homes in the future. So, yeah, man, it's been really good. And it definitely has consumed a lot of my time. I'm not skating every single day of the week, but when I do go skate now, I feel like I have like a new appreciation for it. Filming definitely, like filming for me has always been a little bit stressful, but this kind of takes some of that away, where like now when I skate, I'm enjoying it more because I'm doing it less,
Yeah, too much of anything is a bad thing, honestly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, it is very similar to skating though, in the sense where you get a clip, you're really excited, and like you get something done here, but then you run into like those issues, and then you just, it's a love-hate thing, but more of a love than hate.
I'm gonna take a hard right U-turn right here.
Okay.
Why did Dave become Handrail Dave?
Why did I become Handrail Dave?
What changed?
Yeah, what brought Ledge Dave to Handrail Dave? Because if we look at Rough Riders 1, Tech Dave. But then we go into Pyramid Country, it's like
Tank Top Dave too.
It's like, wait, what?
Okay, so maybe I should kind of just bring it back a little bit of like not to be like, okay, 9 Club, go back to the very beginning, but
we're not. Yeah, we're not doing that.
Okay, so
answer my question, dude.
Okay, well, I should say, so when I was in 7th grade, I was at Vans. It might have been Modern at this point, of Novi, because I grew up in Northville, which is right by Vans of Novi.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Mike and Joe skating the big rail there, and they both like had matching flannels. Like, I mean, already like they looked
nice,
and they were wearing matching like open flannels. I remember, and
I can visualize that too.
They like, I think they hated me, dude. Like they did not. They just didn't like me, but like everyone, it was like Dustin. Obviously, everyone knew Dustin is like the best skateboarder in the universe at Vans. And then seeing Mike and Joe, I remember like almost feeling like competitive, but I knew that they were way better than me, And I remember like seeing footage of them and being like, oh, Mike Kroc backlipped Latra. which we call that red rail back then. I remember.
Yeah. I've heard that. Yeah.
So Mike, I remember like maybe talking to them just for a moment, and like my dad probably picked me up a minute later after that, and like I remember the friends that I skated with in Northville, they were all going to the Kettering Plaza, and like things didn't work out, and like my friend's dad couldn't drive us, so then my dad stepped up and he was like, yeah, I'll drive you guys. And somehow Mike found out that, you guys remember Sean Wright by any chance?
Yeah.
Sean Wright was a filmer.
I don't honestly.
Yeah, he filmed like Am I Rage, and he had
Oh.
Because he filmed that. Didn't he film the Dustin front feeble fail or bail where he like hits the middle pole? Or maybe that was Kyle. I don't know.
That was Kyle.
That Kyle?
Yeah.
Well, there's a long lens angle too, I think.
Aluminum square rail.
Don't matter, but yeah.
So yeah, Sean grew up with like Mike and Joe in Wolverine Lake, and Sean filmed for like, he had a GL1, I'm pretty sure, and he filmed
classic
for Mirage Skate Media with like Drew Curry and stuff. And
damn,
I remember I got a phone call randomly. I got a home phone call, and I don't know like how Mike got my home phone, but it was Mike, and he was like, "Hey, dude, this is Mike Kroc, and I heard you're going to Skate Plaza. Can I come?" And I was like, I remember like I was fanning out, dude. I was like, oh my gosh, like he wants to come to DC Plaza with us. I was like, yeah, for sure. And then I'm pretty sure he showed up to my house on the day we're leaving with Sean. Like I remember like being confused of why Sean was coming too, but maybe it could have been, maybe he asked me, but I guess I was too like excited to even really know.
You're starstruck.
But they showed up, and like, man, I could talk forever on this, but he came with us there, and Mike literally taught me like how to skate handrails. And like I would skate maybe like little rails like here and there, but never actually like a waist high rail down anything. And we got there, and it was just pouring rain. Like I remember we went to the store, and like after it stopped raining, we bought like 20 towels, and we were drying the plaza. Like we were drying up each stair, and we went to the sixth stair, and I remember just having like trouble actually committing, but I knew that I could actually get up there. But I had never done anything where I'm, like I've never done a rail where you can actually rack, right? Like a rail that high.
Yeah.
And Mike taught me that if you just pretty much bail, but like I guess fling your board at the rail and jump down the stairs, like it sounds stupid, but if you just try it like that and like fling your board at it and try to like jump near the rail, then you'll gain confidence. And I remember him telling me that, and I did it. And then I would like ollie, and then I would bail the board away, and then I would like tap it and jump off. And I remember after that, then it clicked, and I knew how to skate a handrail after that, So then when I got back from that trip, Mike and I became close, and then I met Joe, and then we all were like really close, and they would get dropped off, and my dad would drive us to Anderson, and like he would drive us to Pontiac. He would drive us to Pontiac Central, dude, with 3 sheets of wood in his car.
Yeah.
Like 3 sheets of 4x8 plywood in the back of my dad's car, and we would go and skate like a really sketchy rail. And then I met Kyle through that too.
Yeah.
Like they came over one day, and then Kyle, and I was in like 7th grade at this point. So Kyle and Mike and Joe would get dropped off at my house, and then my dad would drive us to like Hugger, like an hour away. And then they taught me how to skate rails. So then I guess, a few years go by, and then like that's when Rough Riders would begin, which I believe was 2008 and 9.
Yeah, I know it premiered in 2009.
It premiered, yeah, like probably in January, right? Like 2009.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Or
no, it was December. It was like near the end of this 2009, because I remember DSM. Yeah, DSM video came out like the same time.
Yeah, and that was like, so that was such a weird. And I really, stop me if I'm going too far, because I definitely don't want to like just be hugging the mic the whole time.
No, dude, you're good. You're the guest.
But
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
so yeah, like I met Mike and all them, and then I still had my crew like from Northville, and our crew was called Annex. Do you remember that at all or no?
I don't remember Annex, no.
So
The
Annex,
farthest back I remember is like IAIS, and I remember Kyle talking about that on the Rosa episode, like how
Yeah,
that
so-
became a thing.
yeah. So Annex was like me and like my middle school and middle school friends, and they were like the kids that when I got to middle school, they were like the good skaters, and like Northville only has them, me, and Robert Katowski. That's the only people that have like
Yeah,
ever.
Katowski.
And Sam Greenspan came out of Northville, and like he's pretty gnarly too.
You got
But,
this like built up Annex.
Yeah, so
You
like
guys-
Annex was like those two guys, and then me, and then I joined them, and like I was skating with them, but then we looked up to like Mike and Joe and Kyle, and like that's when IS was like just starting. And did Kyle tell you how he named IS?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, he had like 4 pages minimized on his computer, and
Yep.
he's like, I take the first letter of each tab, and then it was IAIS, and like IS skate
Dude.
media.
For fucking years, I would go on that website and watch fucking QuickTime videos and be like, dude, what does it mean?
What does it mean? Yeah. Like,
I didn't even know. I was like, am I even pronouncing it right?
so yeah, like when I
That's fucking awesome.
when I met Mike and Joe and Kyle, my friends knew who they were, and it was kind of like, oh, like you're skating with them, you know? And then they started coming around with us, but then eventually I just started like only skating with Mike and Joe and Kyle. And like Jared Skrupski also, and then Sean Wright would skate too. And then my buddy Drew, who is from Northville too, he was also in the videos. And
Drew Curry.
and then,
Drew Curry.
Yeah, Drew Curry, yeah.
Yeah.
And he, like, I don't think he really skates anymore, but
I was
he
just say,
would-
where's he at? He fucking rips.
dude, yeah, he would just huck himself down anything.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
yeah, he's awesome, dude. Man, I haven't talked to him probably in like 10 years or something.
Yeah, I haven't seen him. The last time I saw him was at like TRP, like fucking at least 5 years ago.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was like 7th grade and then like 8th grade. And then that's when I remember like my dad would drive us literally anywhere. And I remember too, he drove us to the, what premiere? He drove us to Rippin' in the Mitten, the premiere.
Oh, nice.
And it was at the Phoenix Theater in Farmington. And I remember during the movie, he was like reading airplane magazines, like with a light. like people are watching like you know, like an iconic Michigan skate video, and then my dad's just like sitting there like to himself while we were just like fanning out. But yeah, so I remember around like 8th grade, my dad took us all to like to Latra, which we called Red Rail, and Mike had backflipped it before I met him, and that was still like so I couldn't even like I grew up like watching Flip Sorry, and like Flip Sorry was my first actual like real skate video watching, and like I have a few 4-in-1s too that I grew up on, but seeing that in person, like it was, I couldn't like understand how somebody could backflip that big of a rail, you know, whereas now that's just kind of something that I guess you would see people warming up on their story or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got there, and like it was such a goal of mine to like board slide that rail. And I remember like I board slid it, and then I actually grew up, I learned front boards before regular board slides, and I always felt, I feel more confident like front boarding a rail. And I went to front board it, and my typical, like my front foot came off the front of the board, and I literally just mangled my ankle, like my front ankle just destroyed it. And that was pretty much the beginning of like my ankle, I guess my ankle story. Like that was the first time. And I remember Kyle dug up an old like developed photo that he took of it that day. I remember he took a photo of it, and it was just huge. But after that was in 8th grade. After that role, I just kept doing it again. And like I had crutches at school, and then the next year I did it again. And that really, like, I was off, like I was pretty much not skating for like 2 years, and I couldn't really skate with them just because that's when like I think Kyle like got his license and I wasn't really around that much. But then after I entered high school and like my ankle was good again, that's when I started skating with Kyle and everyone more. And then he asked me if I wanted to be in Rough Riders. And I remember being like super stoked, like, oh yeah, like I want to be skating with you guys, because at this point I bought a VX. I've had probably 3. Like I've had like probably 12 VXs, to be honest, in total. And like I had a few of these.
I feel you on
But
that.
me and my friends would just go to spots and I'd film tripod. I would just start filming.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, I don't know where any of this footage is going to go. Maybe I'll just put it toward Rough Riders, you know? And another thing I should add, I remember being at WB. This is around when WB opened. And I met Kenny there. And I was skating with Kenny, but he didn't know any of them yet. And I remember I introduced Kenny to everyone. And then after talking with Kyle, then Kyle wanted both of us to share a park.
Yeah,
So
part's
that
dope.
was kind of how, and then Kenny got really comfortable with all of them. And then Kenny started filming. But a few tricks in Rough Riders 1 in our part, I filmed Kenny like Crook Pontiac Central, the 5.
Yeah.
And I filmed him also, what did he do? Kickflip backsmith Fort.
Yep.
And I remember he did that. Like I pretty much just like made a friend that was like he kickflip backsmithed it like second try. And then he crooked Pontiac. And all I knew how to do was I just turned on the VX and filmed. I didn't set it up.
Damn.
I didn't do anything
no
like that.
CPs.
Dude, yeah, everything was like green and like
that took me a whole like year. Like if you look back at my first VX video, you can tell like I was learning. Like I didn't know shit about CPs.
Yeah, so it was really cool because
to build on that, then you got any stories behind the 21 then?
Actually, yeah, that's
I remember.
that's cool.
I still remember. I was like, dude, what? I was like, dude, these guys are insane. These guys are not pro. Because that was to be honest. Like I started skating when I was like 12, but I skated, for like at least 5 years before I even realized like people around were making videos. Like I didn't know. And actually, the DSM video and Rough Riders 1 is the first local videos that I even knew about. Like I didn't know about anything before that. So in those, I don't remember who told me or whatever, but they're like, yeah, there's premiere at Transitions. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm down to go. And I'm like, wait, what? Like these dudes like live here? They're not pro? What? That blew my mind.
I don't know how, still to this day, I think for sure the most underrated people I know are Mike and Joe and Knox and everyone, you know.
Dude, we were talking on our last podcast that
I do.
We're talking about on our last podcast.
Tank top Dave.
There's so many people in Michigan that deserve more than they've gotten, honestly.
Oh, dude, yeah, and I love going through this and watching this because it just so many days.
Damn, that spot's gone now. Actually, that ledge.
Yeah, we called it a West Wing ledge. I remember off Orchard Lake there.
Yeah, I never actually named it anything.
So yeah, and then I filmed this line of Kenny at Hugger. And as you can see, I just kind of, I guess it isn't that bad, but I had a knockoff Mark.
Nice hand in there too, grabbing the rail.
So that Switchtail
Classic.
270 is me and my high school friends, and they just came and recorded. They don't even know what skateboarding is. And then River Rail, man.
Classic. But yeah, because I remember watching this part, and I was like, it might have even been Rough Riders 2. You start skating rails more, and I'm just like, damn, what? And then, but it really once you went into Pyramid Country, I was like, oh fuck, because you just front lipping stairs. I'm like, dude, what in the heck, man?
Yeah, so I can kind of, if you want, I can kind of continue where I was and kind of lead into that, or I can just jump right into
whatever you want. It's your world.
Okay, so I kind of like just going back because it makes me just so stoked on how many amazing people I know. And
Right on.
I don't know. So yeah, like I was skating with Kenny, and then we gave like, dude, I didn't even know how to capture. I would film and give Kyle the tape, and just
weird.
tell him, like, yeah, I didn't know how. Like I didn't do any of that. I just would film and then give Kyle the tape and be like, at 1901, there's a clip. Like capture that and then send it to me over Badongo, and I'll download it and watch it.
Dude.
Damn.
So yeah, I remember like Rough Riders 1, half of that was me filming like with like my homies that didn't skate would like come out and film me tripod, and then like Kenny would film me, and I really felt like a connection. And then that's when, you know, like I would start skating with Mike and Joe and them more. And it's not like we missed a beat. Like we were still really close, but they knew that like I was hurt and I wasn't really coming out. And this is where like Mike, but like Joe was just like on a completely different level. Like,
Oh, dude, that's honestly one of my favorite Michigan parts of all time.
Like Joe, he nollie 50 to nollie front feeble Pontiac. He nollie 50 at first try.
It's insane.
And like that, like I remember going out with them and just feeling like it was not even like I couldn't even like relate almost because of how gnarly they were getting, you know? And about halfway through that video, Kyle came out to Northville one day, and I had grown up at that school where the 21 is, where the orange one is.
Yeah.
And it used to be like baby blue, and I remember seeing a clip of Dustin feebling it back then.
The 21?
The 21. Are you talking about the one with the fence?
Yeah, the one you're Ender in Rough Riders 1.
Yep. He feebled it in. Have you seen 248 before?
It's in that.
Yeah. So I didn't even get into that. Like, so IS made our first video ever. My first video part ever was an IS video. It was like me, Mike, Joe, Kyle, and like Jared, and maybe a few other people. And that came out when I was in like 7th grade.
Damn.
And in that video, Dustin feebled the 21, and then there was another clip of him racking it like really, really bad. I think his dad filmed it or something.
That's awesome.
So yeah, like that was my first video part, but then actually
I don't know about that at all, to be honest. Damn.
That's like me, Mike, Joe, Kyle, like when we were 14.
Are those
like,
those clips that was it?
Yes.
Of EB just literally just jumping off of every roof.
Yeah, Kyle. Yeah, he would just jump off drops and like, dude.
He posted on his story. He posted on his story the other day. He's like, "What the fuck was I doing?"
Yeah, he would just skate big stuff and like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Damn, I kind of want to see that now.
That's kind of the first. Like that was right when I met them. They had already been filming for it, and then they threw me in the video. And like that's when I remember like I board sled Anderson, and like that was like such an accomplishment for me. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm here with these guys and like I'm skating the same thing they are, but skating rails for me still I was way more uncomfortable than like any of them. But then so then years go by, and then during Rough Riders 1, I grew up skating that school, Cook. It's literally right next to my parents' house, like 2 houses away. So I learned how to like ollie a 3-stair there. And like I remember I kickflipped the 3-stair there. And like I learned how to skate there. And this rail there, all the time there would be like snowboarders in the winter hitting it, and then rollerbladers hitting it in the summer.
Yeah, the rail's huge.
It's a 21, but the run-up is like a narrow like road, right? So you ride on the road the short way, and then you hit the rail.
There's like another stair like right before the run up, right?
Right before that, Dustin blunted that actually.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
It growing up, like we didn't even look at that. Like my friends and I never even looked at that rail as there it is. Never considered that being something. And
dude, that's insane too. That no slide.
Oh, there's so many funny stories behind these clips. Like that one at Hucker, my shoe, Eskimo. You guys obviously know Eskimo. He missed the first. I did full cab front board, and he missed it.
No.
Do it again, and my shoe was literally like I had to step on my board and do the trick, because if I lifted my shoe off the board, the sole would fall off. and that was ridiculous. So yeah, going back to the Cook story, the rail is normal height, but to get on, it is lower than normal. And I was there with a few friends, and I remember I was just kind of playing around, like front boarding and then jumping in the grass and front boarding. But I was only doing maybe like 3 feet at a time.
There we go. There he is.
No way.
I wanted to ask how Verdict came about, so I had to, call in the big guns.
Oh, dude. I can't wait till we get to that point.
We're going to be up all night.
We're at 2009 right now, so you got to be patient, bro.
Yeah. You're trying to break records.
Yeah, my wife was 11 at this. So.
Welcome back.
Damn.
Hello.
Okay, so
Preston, I have your water bottle.
Oh, thank you. I actually I meant to grab it last time I was there.
Preston's been helping out at the compound a little bit.
Compound.
Oh, yeah.
But
He's been working on
anyways,
the
yeah. So yeah, I was playing around with it, and I was getting on front board, and then I remember calling. I'm pretty sure I had like a Virgin Mobile, like my first phone or something, and I called Kyle, and I was like, "Dude, let's go to Cook tomorrow," and I think I could front board it. And
Yeah, what was his reaction to that? Did he know you wanted to do it?
I think he knew, yeah, but like.
Like, okay, psychopath.
Still, like, I don't know if he doubted me, but like I hadn't really been skating with Kyle like all that much lately, and like in between 248 and Rough Riders, that was probably about 3 years. In between that, Sean Wright made MI Rage, and like I shared a part with Drew Curry in that, but that was kind of all like during my ankle rolling season.
Damn, so 248 came out between MI Rage and Rough Riders 1? How do I not know about this?
No, 248 came out first before anything.
Oh, okay.
So that was like we all were 13, 14,
Gotcha.
And then MI Rage was when Sean Wright like turned 16. He was the only one that had a car, and then he got a VX 1000, and that was like, whoa, like he got a VX, and now we're not filming with a GL.
Right.
Like, so then
now with a TRV 98 or
exactly, yeah.
Oh, you calmed down on the TRVs, baby.
There was TRV footage in there for sure. But yeah, so like during MI Rage, and then during I guess after or like before Rough Riders, like that was like I couldn't really skate. I was having difficulty, and like so I call him, and he met me out there. He brought Jeffro, and then he brought Charlie Ryan. And they show up, and then I remember I was 16 and I drove my dad, like I didn't have a car yet. So I drove my dad his minivan that he had for work that he'd like pick patients up in and stuff for his physical therapy clinic.
Yeah.
So like I showed up and they were there, and I just was kind of like testing it out. Like I was front boarding and like jumping off and like falling in the grass with my wife beater, and like I remember I slid half the rail, and I remember thinking like, dude, I think I can actually do this. And like I had full confidence that I could do it, but the fence is immediately after the rail.
Yeah.
And looking at it now, like you could seriously get like super smoked on that if you were to get wheel bite and then go into the fence.
Get tossed, yeah, like right in the.
If I knew how to grind like circle rails back then, I would have grinded it, and that would have been a lot safer. But
is it still there? Is that spot still there?
No, dude. It's torn down along with so many good spots I grew up skating in Northville are just gone now.
Damn, when they take that out? They took it out completely? It's a new rail there, isn't it?
It's like the steepest 17 in the world.
Yeah, I do remember that. Okay, you're right, yeah.
All around it.
I remember that now, yeah.
Yeah, so I remember like Charlie Ryan, like, and I viewed him as like, he was probably 21 at the time, but I was like thinking that he was so much older, and he was working at Plus, and I remember I'd go in there and like he would always kind of like encourage me, and I remember when he was there, that was kind of extra like hype that he was there. Right. And then I remember one of them I threw down, I front boarded the whole thing, and then I stuck it and I landed on it and slipped out. And that's what's in the intro.
Yeah.
And that was like, whoa, like I can't believe that this just happened. Like, and I had front boarded, trying to think of the biggest rail I've done before that. Like, I remember I broke my board front boarding Pontiac 14, but I don't think that, yeah, that was like during that time. I remember, like, I tried Pontiac 14, but I had never done anything like it. I had never done 21 before. So I think it was like a few later, I just got on, and in the raw clip, I should have Kyle send it to me. In the raw clip, you can hear Charlie like talking to Jeffro like in the background. And what I do is I'm like super stoked, and like I kept looking at the rail. And then I'm like looking at the rail, and I turn around and like run to like my run up, and then I turn around and I throw down, and then I front boarded it and landed. And when I landed, there's a gate right there, and then they had it. They, you know, like a typical gate, you have like the pole and then like the, you know, the latch that goes, and you have to lift that latch to do it.
Yeah.
When I landed and hit the fence, it literally just obliterated the latch. It broke the latch, and I went right through it. And I remember after I did it, I just picked my board up and just immediately threw it to the ground because I was like so in shock.
Damn.
And that was kind of like my, oh yeah. And I remember too, like I had a few of like my childhood friends like actually there too, because they grew up skating there and like they wanted to come watch. And yeah, I did that. And then I remember a week later, Kenny, we knew we were sharing a part, and Kenny nose slid like that gnarly hubba, and like that was also like a 21 or something like that. So we both kind of had our enders be like a bigger type spot, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that nose slide he did is gnarly.
Yeah, that rail, and then the fence. That's so funny.
So it was closed? You guys didn't think of like,
Dude, you can like
maybe we
kinda
should
see
open
it,
this?
I feel like.
Or
Is it,
did
like,
you
right
want it
here?
closed?
Go fucking
No,
fling
it was closed, and it was like locked. Like it didn't have a padlock.
Oh,
I
okay.
swear you can see it like move right here.
Well, it opens, but it like we couldn't get it open.
I get what you're saying. Okay.
If we would have been able to open it, then I would have. But
Just had it open, yeah.
All it took was a 21 stair front board to get through
Yeah,
that
just
boy.
blast it open.
Yeah.
I actually, no, go ahead. Sorry.
When Martin Phobes crooked grinded it, he did open it. Like it was open that day because you'll go there and it'll be locked, or you'll go there and then like people are running and then they'll open it. But when he did cricket grind, he did one where he landed and then hit the fence, and then he did it again and then weaved out.
I think he used both of those, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he used both.
I remember that. Yeah,
So,
that's so gnarly.
Yeah, like that was, I think, kind of like when I started skating, I guess, bigger stuff. But I still was way less comfortable doing like mellower stuff and like longer stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then like I remember, dude, that premiere, like I remember going, and Joe got carried out. I remember people were carrying him out. Like that video part to this day,
dude, that whole video is really good. Honestly, it's like
really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like everyone had really good footage.
Like it's still good today. You know, a video is good when like you can still watch it, fucking 11 years later, and it's still good. You know.
Yeah, and that was like Kyle had a car, and then we all were just able to go.
Dude,
film.
I know. I was hyped on that when I was like, damn, the fucking filmer skates, dude. That's sick. Because I didn't know him yet.
Dude, he stuck half cab nose slide on Wayne 11 too.
Yep,
Like
he sure did.
Kyle could. I mean, dude, I think he just. There's so many people that want it to be filmed, and you know,
I feel him on that.
It's pretty humble that like he was willing to kind of like set that aside. Because dude, he could film an amazing video part even now.
Yeah.
And Mike and Joe and Kyle and like, you know, all the Rosa dudes, like those, especially like Knox and everyone else, those years of filming with them were like the best. Like those were so fun. And when I moved away for school in Kalamazoo, obviously like that just kind of started to stop just because of distance. But after Rough Riders 3, then there was like a few years of not really any, like they weren't really filming, and like that's kind of when Rosa came about.
Yeah.
I love whenever I can go skate with him today. It's, you know, like I said earlier, we never skip a beat. Like it's just like we just hung out the other day,
Right.
and they're just, I mean, I'm so close with them that like it'll never go away. Like I'll always be like, I don't know, so thankful that those guys like, I don't know, took me under their wing and like really taught me how to skate, and like I learned about what film the video part was.
You're an OG Rough Rider, bro.
Yeah.
Rough Riders, man. I remember he made shirts, and I wore the
Yeah,
shirts.
I remember that. Yeah.
Like
I remember
it
those
was
too,
so
honestly.
rad. And I remember too, like me, Mike, and Joe got on Plus at the same time, and I remember too, like going to like just sessions with like PG or like going to like the holiday party and like hearing like Freeland like compliment one of us. It was literally like we were starstruck. Like I can't believe that they're talking to us right now, and like they're stoked on the video. And I think that, you know, obviously watching like Daycare and like all those videos of, you know, Michigan legends,
Mm-hmm.
when Rough Riders 1 came out, I feel like everyone in Michigan skateboarding must have looked at Joe and Mike and just been like, these guys are the future. Like those parts were literally like some of the best Michigan.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And yeah, so after Rough Riders 1 came Rough Riders 2, and that was a 2-year project, and that was filmed 2009 and then 2010, right?
I think
No, 2000.
it came out in 2012, I think, right? I might
Yeah,
be
so
wrong.
we filmed for it 2010
10
11.
and 11. Okay.
Yeah, so that was like,
I know, but you were still Tech Dave at that point, though.
Yeah, when did
No 30 stair rails.
when did
Actually,
the,
I have
tank
a.
tops come out? Like when did we ditch the tank tops?
I think we
Ooh.
did the tank tops real quick after Rough Riders 1. But if there's a clip in Rough Riders 2, I'm not going to be that surprised. But I adopted a new style, and that was
You should get a clip in one like this year.
I really
Ooh,
wanted
that'd be
to
sick.
be-
Like front lip a huge rail and a tank top, just like for homage. Like your true homies will be like, okay, that's fucking dope. I get that.
if I wanted to do that, then I mean, I should front lip a rail wearing like a purple super shirt and some
Yes.
high top
Yep.
red.
Yes.
Because
holding a gutter in your hand.
Dude, I'm down. Let's do it.
I heard. Is the rumor true that you tried to front board Hausman 15?
Yeah, actually, during Rough Riders 2, and
Really?
I went there with my buddy. Actually, man, what was his name? I'm calling my buddy. I don't even know his name. Andrew Klein is his name.
Oh, Andrew Klein filmed it.
Andrew Klein. He had a DVX. You remember
Yeah.
him?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. He actually,
was
his
skating-
parents own Ford Lanes, Vision Lanes, the
Did it really?
bowling alley by our house. Yeah.
Yeah, so randomly I just would I started skating with like him and then John Alley. I would I would just skate with him it for like a few months or something, and then Sean Yules, who Sean Yules is incredible too.
Yep.
But we went skating, and I remember we were at Hart one day and Sean Yules kickflip backflipped the basement 9.
Makes sense.
But he was filming DVX, and that was during Rough Riders 2.
Is that what Kyle was using at the time?
No, Kyle filmed all the way up until Rough Riders 3. He would film with VX 2000.
So what's the significance of the DVX?
So Andrew Klein had a DVX.
Oh, okay.
He had a DVX, and I scratched the lens so bad on that thing. So bad. And I remember he literally never forgave me for that. I think he defriended me shortly after that. And then also I was skating. I was trying.
He never met Adam Howard then.
Dude,
That boy loves to hit the lens.
That's a hobby of his, yeah.
Yeah.
I was skating the basement 6, and I big spin over the rail, and I was doing a big flip over it, and I broke my board, and then I asked to use his, and then I broke his board too.
Damn.
Then after that, he honestly probably, I think I talked to him once after that, and then he was over it. But
He's like, fuck this new Dave.
I went through a period of like just breaking a bunch of boards. Like now it like never really happens.
I've never
But
seen it.
I would skate like I've never ever really been like a gap skater or really anything. And I guess I just didn't really know how to like I would just land and break my nose like every time I tried to skate something like that. But going back to what you were saying about Hausman, we went out there one day and then I wanted to front board it, but I just couldn't get myself to try it because that.
Oh, so you didn't try it?
No, I did, but
Okay.
I was having trouble getting like stoked enough to try it.
Yeah.
And that rail is definitely gnarlier, I think, than the 21. Because
Dude, there's only been 3 tricks done on it, and one of them wasn't. One of them was over the rail. I think only Mellon over, back 50, and Smith are the only tricks that have been done on it.
Yeah,
Which is kind of gnarly to think about.
I remember hearing about that Smith and like not believing it because I was insane.
Yeah.
But
I was like 16 when I filmed it. No, maybe not that young.
So yeah, that rail is super tall and like really, really steep. And I guess like then I just skated kind of whatever kind of rail. Like I didn't care if it was steep or not, but now I just hate steep rails. But yeah, so I wanted to do it in a line because then I'd like be more stoked. Like
I did hear about that. Yeah.
So then I did half cab flip on flat, and then I went to front board it, and I just gapped so far because of how steep, and I slid like 3 feet, and then I slid and then landed on my feet on the bottom, and then like didn't fall. So like I just landed on my feet, and then all that force went through my whole body.
Yeah.
And like it really like messed my back up, I remember, and it was just, I don't know, like that rail is not a rail I should be skating.
You're a psychopath. I'm not hyped on this 15. I'm not hyped on this 15. I'm gonna do it in a line.
So, but I'm like Pontiac 14. I tried front boarding in a line. Same first trick too. And
how was it? Oh, you did do that. I remember that. Yeah.
And then so I was filming. That's when I was filming senior year of high school, and then I moved away. Got accepted to Western here. Got denied everywhere else that I applied. So then I got in here, and then right when I moved at KZoo, like I lived in the dorms, and I remember like I knew Garrett a little bit, but like I reached out to him, I think over Facebook or something, and I told him, I was like, dude, I'm gonna be moving to KZoo for school. It'd be cool if we met up and we skated, you know. And it's funny, Garrett was over at her house today because he was in town, but I like still looked like, I mean, I look up to Garrett now, but I was definitely very much like, you know, I really respected Garrett, and he's like a legend in my eyes. So, you know, I would skate a little bit out here, but I was really like, I met Anthony Rossi out here and like Garrett, and I was meeting everyone. But I was still like so committed to filming for Rough Riders too. So every weekend, dude, I would go to Lansing because Kyle moved there, and I would film with them. And I remember Anthony almost kind of being bummed, like, dude, why aren't you skating with us here? But I like really wanted to finish that part with them. So I would go to Lansing, I would film with them, and then that I believe it was that winter, that's when Rough Riders 2 came out. And yeah, that is when Rough Riders 2 came out, and I needed a few more things to finish that part. And after, I remember that premiere was the one that was like at that Russell Center, I'm pretty sure. It was like in a really, were you guys at that premiere?
I don't remember that one, honestly.
It was in like it was like basically an abandoned
Russell Industrial
building. Yeah, it was like in an abandoned building that like somehow we got permission to go up there and have that premiere. Or
I feel like I did. I always just remember Rough Riders 3 and Kyle forgetting Knox's part.
Yeah.
Chance.
So our third video, Rough Riders 3, there was a part left out in the premiere. Yeah, that was gnarly, but
yeah. I love EB. Like EB he's like, oh, I fucked up, sorry.
Yeah, and like Kyle's not gonna like try to like cover it up. Like Kyle but like Kyle, that is so on top of it that like you can't be mad at him for that because that's just what happens.
Yeah.
And
It's a
I mean,
skate premiere
obviously,
for
like,
you.
it's a pretty big deal, but like I know that it wasn't just him. I know that like him and Jeremy were
Jeremy,
working on
it was
the
a lot of
video.
they were working together. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I mean that already 2 people working on a video.
No, I agree.
But not saying that like they weren't because it was a great video. But
No, yeah. I'm not saying it's bad or anything like that, but like you're definitely gonna run into those roadblocks or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, that video premiered and I was super happy with that part. I remember during Rough Riders
you got
2,
Ender in that one, right?
I did. I don't know if I fully deserved it, but I did get it. Yeah. I remember
That was like the handrail Dave's coming. You guys don't really understand my potential here,
I
but
still think, as short as it is, I still think Exeter is my favorite ever.
Exeter's a good one.
well, thank you.
You're welcome.
But yeah, so
Exeter was the best.
during
Yes.
Rough Riders 2, I think it was 2011. That was like another insanely bad ankle roll. I mean, not even a roll. Like it was so bad. And to this day, that one is
Like wishing you broke it kind of thing.
Yeah, I actually found out later from like X-rays now that like I did fracture it.
Oh.
But that was like I caught a flight to Montreal to visit a friend, and like I got picked up from the airport. We went to an indoor park and just mangled it right off the bat.
That's literally the worst thing in skateboarding is hurting yourself at a park.
I was skating like a Euro gap, and I came down so hard on it that like to this day, that is the reason why I can't properly flip my board, is because of that time.
Damn.
And it was so bad. And then a month later, my first time trying to skate again, it happened again. And then I remember like after that video came out, I was having like really bad issues with that. And then on top of that, so this is my freshman year of school. And then in the spring, my knee started acting up. And then I actually had to get knee surgery as well. So that spring of 2012, I had knee surgery and I couldn't skate for about 3 months. And after I got surgery, I remember just like I knew that I was going to be going back to school in the fall, but I was still home like at my parents' for the summer. And that's when we started filming for Rough Riders 3. And it was me, Mike, Kyle, Kevin Skutnik, and Reed. And we went on a road trip down to Miami. And that was my first time skating since my surgery. And I felt like I took rehab so serious in those months of recovering that when I got back into skating, I had like a new excitement and was able to actually return to it normally. That's kind of when I remember Kevin really like inspired me just with how he skated. And I knew that he would skate taller things and stuff. And I think that video part, I remember I filmed during the summer, and then I went back to Kalamazoo in the fall and had a house with a few friends. And I remember going out with like Jim Fox and like Bobby Brazen and Anthony, and they took me to, it's not here anymore, it's gone now, but it's in Kalamazoo. It's a really, really long yellow rail. And it's down like a long bank and then a little flat and then another long bank. And they took me there one day, and then I remember wanting to learn how to like 50-50, like actually hold like a 50-50 on a long rail. And they took me there that day, and I was playing around with it. And then that season, I was learning how to actually grind, I guess, like taller stuff. And I was trying to just learn how to like do the basics well, you know?
Yeah.
And so that Rough Riders 3.
Are you a cross lock or a toe lock?
Oh.
I'm on my heels, man.
Heel
Always
lock.
on my heels. Yeah.
Toe lock. I feel like toe lock is like the least.
That's what Court Kramer toe locks.
That
Uh,
seems
and-
gnarly. That seems like you want to smash your face.
Yeah, and same with Mike Kroc. Whenever he back 50s, he's on his toes the whole time.
Yeah. Honestly, I think I toe lock.
Wow, that's especially on the back 50. That seems even scarier.
Yeah, no, back 50 definitely want to. You definitely want to heel lock.
Yeah.
But you know what's weird? Like me personally, like even when I'm 50, I just want to be. I want to be centered. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Well,
I
really,
don't.
yeah,
That's why I don't touch
I
him.
have to be crooked.
I just don't touch him.
like.
Oh,
if
you
I'm
have to be
also-
cross locked.
Yeah,
is what you're saying?
cross locked. If I'm like
It's center
either
lock on a
toe
leg.
side
Dude,
or
when,
heel
like
side,
these new age kids, like when I see them like on a fucking 40 stair cross locked, I'm like, damn, that actually kind of makes sense. But I don't fucking know what they're doing. Like,
I remember growing up, like no one even thought about that, and I
no,
remember never
it's a super
thought
new
that.
age thing.
It's new. This new age stuff going around. It's,
He's fucking youngin'.
I remember specifically, like when I was starting to kind of, I guess, think about that more. I remember seeing a clip of somebody like do a cross lock, and I remember thinking like, oh, that's so weird that they're like wheel biting like while they're 50-50. And for me, if I ever get into a cross lock, I just jump off because I'm like, this is super weird. I feel like I'm doing a Smith.
Damn, dude.
And
See, like I'm not.
when I do back 50s, like I have kind of tried to like do cross lock, but I normally just go to my heels every time. So I don't know. Whenever I do a 50-50, I'm just on my heels because that's how you are in a box, you know?
Right.
I don't feel like being crooked. If you do look at people that do cross lock, their upper body is more open, like a Smith, if they're doing that.
Okay.
And I think that there is a huge advantage. Like I feel like you can hold it much longer if you're doing cross.
Yeah, because if you ever see like Zion Wright like back 50 in a fucking 20 flat 20, he's usually cross locked.
Yeah. Preston is actually our butler now, guys. So.
Yeah. Dude, I can see his upright posture being perfect for that.
Silver platter.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, Preston's acting in Verdict.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, let's talk
Oh,
about
thank you.
Dude, I like that when you posted the clip of you smacking him around, dude, I watched that like 97 times.
Preston. I'll always like cherish those times, man. That was so fun.
Is that the same basement where you're always taking a shit, Preston?
Yeah, it is.
Lieutenant Furgon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were saying,
I
Dave,
definitely
sorry.
cherish those moments too. Like that was like when I was starting to develop as a skateboarder because Dirty Waters 2 just premiered, and like that was my first video part, and you know Dave and I just had a good connection at that time, and it just kind of went off from there. It was just really easy because like
the Dirty Waters were flowing.
Yeah, it was authentic because that's what we were doing at each spot. Like we were just like, you know, pretending to be soldiers or whatever. So.
Preston moved to Kalamazoo this is fast forwarding now a few years, but Preston moved to Kalamazoo and we filmed. Preston had like a guest trick in like Peter Morris's Dirty Waters 1 part. But then when Preston actually moved to Kalamazoo, you just skated like rails like it was nothing. And I was like, yes, dude. Like, I love filming this.
Yeah, I feel like he came out of nowhere.
Because
I honestly don't even remember meeting Preston.
I don't remember how that worked. It had to have been a premiere.
I feel like it was that. I feel like I met you at that when I filmed you do that Smith, which at my angle, the angle that I used of you smithing, you didn't land it.
I think it was the weekend. Maybe that was the Dirty Waters weekend. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the weekend where Jay-Z did like nose slide
front feebled it,
3
dude.
shove or whatever.
Jay-Z front feebled that rail, I'm pretty sure. I don't
No,
know
I'm
if
talking about the.
Yeah.
I'm talking.
That
about
was the spot I'm talking about.
He did like front nose like shove out or whatever the crazy one he did.
Oh, the rail that's not there anymore. That
Yes.
Oh yeah, yep.
Oh
yep.
yeah.
I think it was that weekend because
That was
there's
good.
like clips of
That was
that
good
weekend. I'm
stuff.
like,
But I remember like Dirty Waters 1 came out, and then for Dirty Waters 2, I remember like after 1 came out, I'm like, like I love filming, but it's so much work. I don't think I could ever make another video, but we always say that. And
I feel like I've heard you say this in my last video a couple of times, man.
And then it's like Dirty Waters 2, like people that was when Kalamazoo, hopefully not forever, but that's when Kalamazoo was like at its peak in terms of people, like the skate scene, because I lived with Zach L. Warden. Me and him had that house on Walnut, and he couldn't even find time to film with me because I was filming people every day. And like people moved to Kalamazoo like pretty much to skate, and like the scene was blowing up. And Preston moved that during that time. He moved to Kalamazoo and then filmed a really awesome part, which he only had a year out of the 2 to film. So Preston, you filmed that part, and then after the premiere, we actually were scheduled to go to California like 2 days after the premiere. We're gonna all drive.
Dude, I forgot about this part. Yeah.
Yeah, and then my buddy Alex Blay, actually the night of Dirty Waters 2, his car got totaled. Him and Peter were in the car. And
Yes. Yeah.
there was a dude driving, and the dude had no headlights on and had headphones in and T-boned them, and then he got off clean like nothing. They just
Wasn't
let him
that
go.
the same night that like what's his face like peed in your guest?
Oh, that Joel pissed all over that dude's shit too.
Yeah.
Joel Schoner got like
He woke up drunk, thought he was in the bathroom, but he was really just peeing all over that same dude that got in an accident stuff. He's like,
what a rough night.
yeah.
So yeah, accident, that all happened, and then basically we were like, okay, now we can't go to California because his car got totaled.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that part. That's gnarly.
And then it worked out where like his insurance, because he's Canadian or something, like they offered to give him a car, and then he would drive that home.
Oh.
But then
Damn.
we had unlimited miles on it, and we got what did we get? A Suburban, like a huge like white Suburban. And then me, Preston, Aaron, and him hopped in the car, and then that was like we went on a 2-week trip to California, and that's everything that I was filming at Preston. We just naturally started filming a part together, and then
and I wasn't even supposed to go on that trip. Like you guys had planned that separately, and then like the night before you left, you called me and were like, "Hey, Preston, you want to go to California tomorrow?"
Sounds a lot like Joe asking you if he can come hang at the plaza.
Yeah, it was very like spur of the moment, and we
Called
just
him on the
went,
house phone.
Like, Preston filmed like a lot of footage then, and like in I think the first few days of the trip he was stacking, and it's funny because like my filmer is Preston. Like in Kalamazoo, Preston. Like I remember the first time I handed you my VX, Preston, and like I don't think you really even had any experience really filming, but everything you were filming was so good, and I was like, dude, this dude shreds, and then I can go out and we skate some more stuff. And then, you were filming me, and then it worked out really well. And then all 2016 and then all 2017, we filmed that part.
Yeah,
It sounds like it came out at the right time.
So what was the reasoning behind like Stone having his own verdict part minus like the Oakland video or whatever? Because then those both came out simultaneously, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, Bud came out first. And
You said what?
so
What?
after Dirty,
Oh yeah, I remember Bud.
yeah.
Bud
after
came out
Dirty
first.
Waters 2, that was that was so much work for that video.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not want to go through the process of like making DVDs and then doing like a booklet included. It was just so much work and money, and like I just wanted to make a video but have it be kind of like low key, I guess, or not, kind of just less.
But I guess like why not have his part in it? You know what I mean?
That's my question. Well, yeah, because after Bud was verdict in Oakland, right?
Yeah. So after Dirty Waters,
was it a
2,
time
then I made Bud, and that was 2016, and that was just like that was all like montage style, like all just montages.
Yep.
And then I was filming Preston during that, but then when that video premiered, we didn't feel like we had enough to make him a full part. So then we filmed 2017, and I didn't release his part in Oakland because that was montage style, and then also he had been filming for 2 years, so we wanted to do it on its own. So Oakland premiered, and like that was actually, I think, my biggest, like, Dirty Waters 2 was like a really big premiere, but I think Oakland was like the most successful premiere. And that was kind of just.
I was bummed I couldn't get to that one.
That one was.
Yeah,
really
is that when you broke your leg?
No, I was in Vegas for work.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I feel like that's the first time I was exposed to Preston. I was like, who is this guy?
Austin Canny, he
his part.
Like, he just was like on it, dude, and like just every day we'd go out, and I didn't really have much responsibility other than like finish up school and then go skate, you know. And yeah, so I filmed Preston that year, and then all throughout 2015 until pretty much now, Preston's been like my main filmer for like all my video parts. He'll film, and then, you know, you'll film, Steve, and then other people will film, and then, you know, out of everyone on Pyramid Country, me and Tyler Franz are kind of just, we have random people film us, and then Jackson, whereas most people on the team are just being filmed by Jackson, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those were good times, man. And Preston, I remember when we filmed that skit in the basement, all of that stuff is like dubbed because we didn't have a microphone.
Damn.
So most of that is all dubbed, where like we would do it, and then
the film industry calls that Foley, but continue.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing the dub.
This guy's corporate. Don't let him fool you.
Yeah.
I got a fan submission photo here.
Wow.
No wife beater though.
That no, I said there's because Emma sent this in, and I was like, I bet there's a tank top under all that.
Oh, there might be.
Look at his hair and his face. Like, he knows he looks good. He's
That's a 21 stair handrail skater right there.
I'm pretty sure I had high top Supras on during that too.
Oh my goodness.
Just kidding.
The gold ones.
I was thinking about him though.
All right, what is fielding season?
Repeat that.
What is fielding season?
Preston.
I don't know.
You gotta go with your gut, boys.
Yeah, whatever pops in your head, just go.
Fielding season.
That's like when all the lawnmowers come out and just do a really fine job.
Dude, see, that's the thing. I saw no, you're wrong, but I saw
It reminds me of like something with farming or something.
You're playing the field, so it's fielding season. Kind of like when like the girls come out in the summertime. They're, you know, everyone wants to come out more. You know, they just broke up with their winter boyfriends.
The opposite of cuffing season, from late May to early September, during which people.
Boom, baby, let's go.
But I mean, people are all coming out right now, but then it will be like 40 degrees a day later. So
yeah, and you can't because you can't go outside your house.
Damn, I've never actually got one.
What is a stop short?
Stop short?
Yeah.
We're bad at this. We're not good at this game.
Preston?
He just keeps repeating it. Yeah. Just keeps repeating the term.
You just gotta let your brain go, you know?
I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's the bizarro version of baseball, where instead of a shortstop, it stops short. And instead of playing with a baseball, you play with a hand grenade.
What? Dude,
okay. So like when there's like a grenade thrown at you, but you just make it out of like getting blown up.
Yeah,
or
it's
is
a position,
it
but
like the classic like Call of Duty,
like
right bumper to throw, and it's like the little hand. And you gotta.
It's actually a Simtex. But
Stone's been playing too much GTA lately.
No, you're wrong though. So sorry.
Dang it.
I mean, me personally, I think it's like leading someone on. Stop short. Like you kind of like you give them that hope, but
Corey,
stop short.
I'm just like thinking literal with this one. Like you just abruptly stop talking to somebody. Just
okay.
like literally just walk away.
It's like the classic like mom thing where you put your arm out but breaking suddenly in order to cop a feel. What is a ball and socket?
A ball and socket?
Yes.
That's a
Dave
type
will
of
tell you all
coin.
about it.
It's a type of joint.
No, but I mean you're right, but
He's right.
think outside. No, but think outside the box.
Like a perfect fit. Like you don't have to like put any effort into it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, accidentally put your balls in a light socket.
Yeah, that was my initial thought, but I didn't want to answer that one.
I don't know. I gotta go with that, like the thing that Steve said, like the perfect fit type deal.
It's,
Yeah, ball and
opposite
I don't know.
of
That's
when one bro goes in for the fist, and the reciprocating bro acts if he's gonna bump too, but instead he grabs the bro's hand and shakes it in a pivoting motion.
Bro, that's a fucking
Oh.
turkey. You already said that on a past
No.
episode.
We've all
That's a-
done that before.
That's a turkey. When you go like this and go like
What's
that.
up,
that's a
dude?
turkey.
But you
This is
so
a
you
ball and
grab.
socket.
So the
Yeah.
grab. Okay, that's fair.
And then you just kind of shake it because you don't know what else to do. You're like,
All right, last one. What does it mean to bottle it?
bottle it.
Yep.
I think it means just shut up and just hold it in.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say cap it, like just
Cap it.
that's it, end it.
Put a
shut
cork
up.
in it.
Stone.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, pretty much.
You're kind of all right. It's like when you're on the verge of doing something.
Oh man,
awesome,
let me guess.
so you get back at you weren't no, because you were gonna ask no.
No, I was gonna say I'm gonna wait until I'm in a room full of people before I fart.
Oh.
That's
No.
all prep right there.
It's basically like you're on the verge of doing something sick or awesome, but then you just back out at the last second and or fail. Whether it's gaining a sizable lead during a Street Fighter match, but ultimately losing or posting an inflammatory response on the forum, then deleting it. Oh, so if you're going for it, and then you back out like you're scared.
Like when you're up on a ladder and you're at your gutters,
No.
but you just,
Yeah. Are you guys used to it yet, or is it still kind of weird to like say my wife, my husband? Like, what's that like?
It took a little bit getting used to, and even like when we got
It
engaged,
took
I
a while to
remember.
get used to fiance, so then it was like,
Yeah,
okay.
true.
Yeah, how'd that all work out? Like you, Dave, why were you in Texas?
So we met because the wheel company I ride for, they do like skate ministry and stuff.
Embrace, right?
Yeah, Embrace. So I got invited on it's funny, I told Garrett this story. Today Garrett was he was cutting my hair asking how we met. But I got invited on this trip and we're on the road to the skate park that's like
Houston, Texas. It's the biggest park in America or something. I forget the name of it.
like biggest skate park, dude. They have like a double kink there and like it's just insane.
Oh, of course that intrigues you.
Yeah, so I was on board.
You're like, oh, I'm in.
So yeah, we were going there, and like while we were in the car, I overheard them talking about like this girl who skated, and like I kind of like tuned in a little bit to like kind of listen in on the conversation, but then it ended and like I didn't really hear much more. And then when we got to the park, I remember seeing her and her dad like skating a quarter pipe together, and I was like, this is awesome. Like I've never seen this before. And her dad is
You're like, yep, that's the one.
like
That's my fiance.
her parents both like skate and like they
My
met.
parents met
Hey,
skateboarding.
there you go.
Oh no way! I didn't know that. That's dope.
Yeah.
I won these at Oakland premiere, and
Oh, nice. That's what I was. Yeah,
they're too small.
I'll give you some bigger ones.
Well, I'll donate these.
But yeah, so yeah, like I got introduced to him and like it kind of clicked. Like, oh, this is who like they were talking about, And it was really quick. Like I
It was
just
super brief.
It
And
was
he had
like-
a green helmet on.
yeah, you had to wear a helmet.
Ah.
It was kind of just like quick, like, hey, nice to meet you kind of thing. And then at the end of like after that trip, we followed each other on Instagram. And
We
then,
didn't talk the whole time.
no, not really. And
Damn, smash the DMs, huh?
I just
Yeah.
remember watching him roll up to this rail, and it looked like he was just gonna roll up to it just to look at it, and he just hopped on it. And I remember my dad and I across the park looking at each other like, what just happened? We were like blown away.
It's usually how I feel every time he hops on
Yeah.
one. Like, man, I can't do that.
And then after he skated in the contest, he skated by, and I was like, nice run, bro. And that was like I said to him.
Mhm.
And then yeah.
That's
So
tight.
then
What a
after
pickup line.
that, after that, like I
got it, bro.
I followed her dad and her on Instagram, and like I was almost.
Yeah,
like,
you followed you hit her dad on the Instagram first.
That's
When you
ballsy.
meet
At
my
the same
dad,
time-
you're gonna like understand. My dad's like the best guy ever. Like I
Yeah.
don't brag about a lot, but I brag.
Yeah,
about
if you
my
knew
dad.
him, you would know.
I think
Okay.
I don't think I met your
follow.
dad. I met your mom for sure though.
Yeah, my mom's she plays games. She's a gamer, but my dad is like the best, like most
Wasn't he in Big
kind-hearted.
Brother,
Like
or what was he?
Lyle's the best human in
my dad
existence.
figured
Just
for
know
college.
that.
Was he at the reception that we went to, or did I just blow up
No,
and not see
he
him?
wasn't able to make it. But I'm
Okay.
sure you guys will meet him eventually. He like keeps up with all of y'all because he just loves like all of Dave's friends.
He's been skating since probably the 70s, and like
Damn.
he skated for like Paulo Peralta, and like
Wow.
just
sick.
is such like a relatable and just an amazing dude. And like I felt very like I don't know, like he can relate to anyone and just meet people where they're at. And
Yeah.
I would like hit him up and like just like comment on his stuff, and then we were talking back and forth on Instagram. But then I was kind of like keeping an eye on her, and I was like, dude, I have a crush on your daughter. But like then this is where it gets like really insane. So I was with Preston and Josh Oakes and I think Austin, and we were in Florida for a trip in like 2 months after I met her. And while we were there, she DM'd me because she saw that I was in Sarasota. And there's a church in Sarasota that like has a skate park or like a mini ramp inside of it. And like I had street skated this church like multiple times, but I knew where it was. It was only 2 minutes away from the condo, but I had never actually been inside or anything like that. And she told me, you should go check this guy out that has a ministry there. And like, he actually sponsors her and like sends her and her family boards.
I've been getting
and
boards from him for like 3
Nice.
years now.
Yeah. So it was
Damn.
like, oh,
Sponsored
what?
skater.
They're really awesome. Like his name's Tim, and he actually walked me down the aisle. Like he's
Oh,
got
word.
my Florida dad. Like my dad officiated our wedding with Brian, and then Tim walked me down the aisle. But
Nice.
Yeah.
yeah, he's like the best dude ever.
Yeah, so like me and Preston go and we meet this dude, and like he hooked Preston up with a board because he broke his board, and like we met him, and then he was saying, next time you're in Florida and you're here, like I'm gonna be doing like a camp where I have like just like a kids camp, like a skating camp, and you should come down for it, and then you can help out with the kids and everything. So yeah, it was kind of just like a quick like, okay, yeah, that'd be cool. And then throughout the months, like I would keep in touch with her a little bit, and like I sent her.
He like
a copy.
sent me a copy of the plan.
Yeah, like I sent her a video, and like I would say,
You
like,
just sending her footage.
well, I was like I sent like her family like a package, but it was really just like because of her. But like her dad kind of was like the doorway in, I guess. But like her
Smart man.
Lyle it's weird saying her dad. Like Lyle is just super stoked on like everything we do here. And then it came time where I wanted to go down there and help out with that camp. And then I got a message from her dad, and he said, hey, we're thinking of coming down there too to help out. And then I was like, oh, I'll host them at the condo and that'll work perfect, And like I could kind of like see that it was going to be something before it even happened. And then we picked him up from the airport, and then we went through the camp the first day, and it was
Well, when they picked us up from the airport, I remember I was like, okay, I'm gonna like give him a big hug so that he like that's like my first move. And I just remember the hug was so awkward, like it was so bad because it was like he was going in for a quick one, and I was trying to like give a real hug, and it was just like, oh,
Right.
it was so
Like
bad.
Dave's over here trying to hug Lyle, and
Dave's looking to hold, or you're looking to hug. Dave's looking to hold.
yeah.
Vice versa.
But, yeah, like the camp, it ended at like noon, and like I had my buddy Jalen Oliver with me, and then my buddy Matt, and like we wanted to go street skate, but I didn't even know how that was gonna be. Like having her, like I didn't really know her and her dad well enough to know like, are they down to go street skating?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
Going to street skate, like I remember being like super young and going to spots with my dad and mom. So like he doesn't know that, but I've been like around this my whole life. So
that's sick.
So yeah, like I had the VX and I'm like, let's go hit some spots, and then they came along too, and it was just so natural. Like I had never experienced that where they're like, I remember the first spot we went to, like the cops came and like
I got my ID taken.
She got her ID taken. And, like, I remember thinking like, are they down for this? Like I don't know.
Does she know what's happening right now? Like,
she was actually during Florida was dating somebody, and then your boy stole her away.
Hold on.
It makes me look super bad. I did have a boyfriend, but we like we had not been talking to each other for like a month. So it was like it just needed, the conversation needed to happen, you know?
Yeah, it made sense.
Yeah, after Florida, I felt super guilty. Like I was like, even though we're basically broken up, like we haven't had that conversation, and I'm like super like into this guy. And so like before we got on the plane, I like called him and I was like, we're over. And he's like, I know. And I was like, I just had to like.
And then from there, it was long distance, and like that was a little bit difficult. But I went out and visited her and her family.
He came out for my birthday.
For her birthday, and then like I was like, okay, this is incredible. We're just going out street skating with her dad, and like
yeah, that is pretty dope.
Like, we're watching skate videos while we all eat dinner, and like it just very like accepting, and like I mean, you know, we're 6 years apart, and I think a lot of people at first were like, dude, she's 21, like, and you're 27,
I was 18.
Like, and then you live in Michigan, she lives there, but
so in Austin, like being a sugar baby is how a lot of people just like pay for college and stuff.
What?
And yeah, like it's super common. Like it's through all, like you're either like just like a companion, or like you go on trips with them, or you're like in a relationship with them. There's all kinds of different kinds. And like where I worked at a Whole Foods, and like so many of the people I worked with, like their side hustle was being a sugar baby.
Damn.
And so I remember he sent me Vans because mine were like torn up, and I put it on my Instagram story, and everyone at work was like, you're finally doing it. Like this is like your skate sugar daddy. And I was like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah.
And then, we were already planning the wedding before we were engaged, you know, but then I knew that I wanted to propose at the premiere, but then the premiere was set in May, and I was like, oh, it's going to rain that day. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But, yeah. And then I proposed at the premiere, even though we already had a lot of the wedding planned.
We knew we had like talked about it, and we were both like, hey, like this long distance thing sucks, so let's have a short engagement. And I was like, I'm super like, I need time to plan. So I was like, I'm just going to start planning now, so that it's not like insanely stressful.
Difficult,
whenever I was like, you propose whenever you feel like it, but like let's start planning the wedding so that it can just be a smoother process.
Yeah. And it was just really cool because like during being involved like in skate ministry, like which I like grew up, dude, like going to church and everything. Like I was in all that growing up, but none of that for me. It was more like I was in church, but I was like ready to just leave and go skate. Like I didn't want anything to do with that. And like it took a sequence of events and actually meeting Peter to like bring me back. But ultimately, like I didn't really even fully understand like Christianity or anything. Like growing up, it was just a system of like going through the motions. And I thought like, okay, you know, whatever. But going through like skate ministry and stuff, meeting Brian Sumner was like so rad. And like I used to buy trick tip videos of Brian Sumner, and then after meeting him, he was already close with her family, and then we asked him to be in our wedding, and he actually like was like, you know, the pastor for the wedding, and like that was really rad to have Brian Sumner there. And then like
that's gnarly.
All the, you know, so we did the wedding in Texas, but then for the sake of all the people that couldn't make it, we did the reception and in Michigan. And yeah, after the wedding, then we Yeah.
honeymoon. Then we came back to Texas for a little while, so I kind of like say goodbye. And then my family, like my mom and dad and my younger brother, my sister's like married and has kids, so she can come. But like we all drove up in a truck with like all my stuff. And it was like
Just moved up, and like it was already like
then
getting really cold, and just
my brother
I mean,
got
like,
food poisoning. And so the drive was like 4 times as long
It was
because we had to
gnarly.
stop at literally like every single restroom we passed. It was just
I mean, if it's more complicated than that, I understand. But why the hell would you want to live in the cold?
well, so I told her I kept
Yeah,
telling her,
Dave,
like,
come here.
I told her like you're coming to Michigan, and like it like
Hey,
right
man.
now like, in October, that's like when it all starts going just cold and gloomy up until about now.
You poor thing.
And unfortunately, this winter has been really rainy and cold, and then now it's like taking longer than normal. At least
Yeah,
I think so.
I've
to, like,
noticed
be-
that.
Yeah, it's been a weird year, yeah, for sure.
But it's going to be 84 next week, so
hopefully.
who knows? But
I like forgot what it felt like to be nice outside.
I don't know. I just like knew that this is where we were planted. Like this is where we're supposed to be. And we have like such an amazing church family, and like we're getting like a slab built at the church to build a DIY on where we can like do ministry and stuff. And
yeah,
plus is like snow skating. You can't like Texas.
Yeah.
Not option.
But I mean,
we're-
though, like everything's bigger in Texas. Does that like count for handrails or?
Everything's hotter there too.
we need to just go on another skate trip to
Oh,
Texas.
that'd be awesome.
That's true, yeah.
You guys would love this.
Yo, Texas is dope. I know Alex and I went.
We have,
our
we have an uncle
lives
that
there.
lives in Garland.
Yeah, our uncle is there, and we got to skate a
Garland.
Garland.
But ultimately, what we're really like hoping and praying for is that in about 5 years, her family wants to move up. Actually,
Really?
So
Really?
yeah, they want to move up, and we have an eye on a house actually like right behind ours that we want to get for them to live in.
So you're gonna
But-
rebuild that one too, right?
Well, that one's in pretty good condition, but like,
How are the gutters on that one?
I don't think they have any on that one, so that'll
Oh,
be the
man.
first thing
Well,
we do.
here we go.
Jesus.
But
we gotta
yeah,
fix
I mean,
that.
if that happens, it happens. But we're really excited, and now, after like we were already kind of tucked away inside for the winter, and then now like this quarantine, so it's been a lot of just being inside and like
Just waiting.
just taking this time to like work on the house, and then we've been going out. We just went out last weekend with Preston, and we went filming. And I mean, we went with a lot of people, but that was really good. Preston got down on a double stair rail, and that was really cool.
Preston's just saying he's got like a
Oh,
video coming
cool.
soon. That
Yeah,
might be,
Stone.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm really stoked that you guys had us on, and we'll have to do a Kalamazoo edition. We'll have you guys
Yeah.
out. We'll watch an episode of This Old House.
Ooh.
Then
That'd be
that'll-
funny.
That'll prime us for the episode, and then we'll be ready. Yeah, and then we'll make a weekend out of it, and then Preston, you can be the butler for the night.
I'll be the butler.
Super down.
And you start breaking up the tank tops, and I'll be ready.
Yeah, maybe I'll wear one. I'll wear one for
I
that
wanna
episode.
see everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen Tank Top Dave.
You poor thing.
Dave. Revert Dave.
Revert Dave.
Full cab Dave.
Full
right, man.
cab Dave.
All right, guys.
All right,
Adios.
you guys have a good one.
You too.
All right.
Good night.
Adios.